Okay, we are live. Hey, healers. Drop your city, drop your zodiac sign. How's everybody doing tonight? We are talking about how daddy issues affect the throat chakra. Let's get into it. So, I have a whole healing download that helps with this issue at heavenonearthreiki.org under Goddess Healings. I did a whole healing with the muse Calliope, who is the muse of epic poetry. And this healing is especially good for people who are called to write a book or songs, poetry, and you basically just, you need to let your words flow freely. I've been wanting to talk about this topic for weeks. I've had it in my queue, so I'm gonna get into it. I hope that y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope that some of my favorites come through for this conversation because there's so much to dig into with daddy issues and the throat chakra. Your throat chakra is the way that you connect with other people. It is one of the most painful chakra blockages that you can have because it impacts your ability to connect with others and to seek support and have community. So when your throat chakra is blocked, those symptoms of that are talking too much, but not really saying anything important, saying things that fall on deaf ears in a sense of or casting pearls before swine also is another indicator. Basically just using your words without being able to really get a return on your investment. And for a lot of people that have throat chakra blockages, extreme throat chakra blockages, you're actually extremely gifted in that area. And so working on that chakra is one of the most beneficial, lucrative areas of your chakra system that you can work on. And the throat chakra connects with your sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is all about making money, comfort, security, stability, sexuality, sensuality, and flow. And if you've seen the images that have floated around the internet, the cervix and okay, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. The cervix and the throat have they're made very similarly. So the way that they look and the way these muscles contract, you have a throat cervix and you have a womb cervix, if your body is built that way. So these are portals, okay? And these muscles, there's very small and very deep muscles there, and those muscles they are affected by the nervous system. So prolonged trauma of all kinds and damage to the central nervous system can affect these tiny little muscles and cause them to tense up, and in a way that you're not really able to release and flow the way you need to, whether that's sexually or verbally. What up, y'all? We got a Pisces from Long Beach. Hey, everybody. Drop your zodiac sign, and tips are appreciated. But it is drop your city, drop your zodiac sign. I'm streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe to me on all platforms just in case. You never know. It's always good to have a backup plan so you can get the info that you need. Happy full moon, everybody. It's the Pisces full moon. Drop your city and your zodiac sign. I'm a Gemini sun, Scorpio rising, Capricorn moon. Hope you guys can see me okay. It says the connection is not not good. Okay, you guys, are you still there? Can you hear me okay? Drop some hearts if you can see me / hear me. And let me pin this comment. Sorry, that always takes me forever. Phew, okay, we're back. Hi. Hey, Facebook friend. Oh, I need lip gloss. So, yes, you guys, I'm streaming live on 3 platforms. This is one of my proudest accomplishments all year, is hooking up my setup. You should see my setup. It's freaking immaculate. So I'm actually working on a little mini e-course for you guys on online business building, and I'm going to give you the info behind the scenes of everything that I use to have my setup to go live, and so you can do the same thing. But yes, I have my fancy webcam. I have my ability to be streaming on 3 platforms at once, and that makes it really easy because, you know, everybody's going to see you in different places. I have a much bigger audience on Instagram, but I like having the backup on Facebook and YouTube because you never know, you know, what if my phone glitches out and it doesn't save my live, then at least I have it saved. Or what if, you know, YouTube glitches and I have it saved, you know, so it's like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So yes, y'all. Okay, so I would love to hear from you of what comes to mind when you hear the title. Like, what made you click on the title, How Daddy Issues Affects the Throat Chakra? Use your throat chakra, open up and get into this conversation. Let's talk about it. I've been intensely working on my throat chakra all year. So one of the things that I'm going to do right now is, like, you know, brag on myself a little bit because I have had so many great accomplishments this year, and I've done a lot of hard things that I never thought I could do. I had to work really hard to be able to do those things. For example, testifying in front of the state capitol to support a bill to decriminalize sex work in Louisiana. I got up in front of this whole, you know, the whole room and told my story of experiencing sexual assault in the adult entertainment industry and why I even started my platforms for healing for sex workers in the first place. And it was really important to me just to stand up and speak, especially for so many people that couldn't and can't and never will be able to take that stage. I have a gift for using my voice and using language to communicate and to persuade and to support. So I'm going to do that. And it's important for me also to use my voice in a way that supports other people to use their voice too. It's really hard because I've been attacked constantly my whole life for how I use my voice and my opinions about things and things that I say and things that I think. And it's been so easy for other people to scapegoat me as if I'm the problem. You know, like they say, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah. The reason why they say that is because people always want to attack the messenger and make it as if the messenger is the one who did it, like just because they're the one that's bringing attention to it, when really it's like, hey, shouldn't we be talking about this? This is kind of like an elephant and nobody's really talking about this, so let's talk about this. But then everybody's like, how could you say that? And they're so mad that you said that, but what they're really mad about is the fact that it's true, that what you said is true, and that ignoring it didn't make it go away. And I've just had to get used to realizing the fact that when I open up my mouth to speak, I don't know how it's going to come off to people. There's so many reasons why people could and would take it the wrong way. And no, that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to not talk. It means that it's just, it is what it is. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, you know, and it's good that it's good to get people talking. When my throat chakra is open, that makes other people's throat chakras open. And when they've been clogged and closed for so long, who knows what's stuck in there, and that's what's gonna come out. And that's part of being a healer, is it's like, bitch, you don't take that shit personally. You just let it come out and understand, like, okay, shit has to come out. Like, sometimes it doesn't come out in the right tone or sounds nice or sounds right, and that doesn't mean that you weren't supposed to say it or that you did something wrong or you should feel guilty or anything like that. Even if it hurt somebody's feelings, even if it made somebody mad, like, who cares? That's their problem. I've been working on my throat chakra this month. Good. And when you open up your throat chakra, it takes a lot of weight off of your heart, because a lot of us are walking around with really heavy hearts. And it's because that's a burden on our throat chakra. We haven't been able to open up and speak and let things off of our chest. And that sometimes it necessitates you having to be really childlike, like, and innocent, and just understanding that, like, instead of thinking of all the reasons why you shouldn't tell people how you feel, or you shouldn't say, like, what's on your mind, just letting yourself do that with the innocence of a child that doesn't have any reason to think that they shouldn't say how they feel. Because we're going to another timeline in which that child within us has always been nurtured with that supportive listening ear, and we've always been listened to and able to air out our emotions and whatever we feel and whatever we need to say, and that because we feel like nobody cares, or they don't have time to listen to us, or maybe we're afraid, like, if I say the wrong thing, I'll get rejected, or daddy will go away. So you can tell the difference between a person who who's like had a lot of people listen to them and care about what they said, and honor their emotions and stuff, versus someone who didn't have that or hasn't had that. um, my Wi-Fi is going in and out, so I hope you guys can see me and hear me okay. My throat chakra is less heavy now. Journaling, EFT, and audio record my processing helped my throat. Good. Yeah. And I working with the Calliope, with the Muse Calliope. Okay, good. You can hear me fine. Okay, good. Because it keeps like flickering on my screen and going in and out. So that's good. But working with the Muse Calliope was very interesting because it was very subtle. But she kept opening up channels for me to express myself more and more. I've been humming a lot. I like that. Exactly. Anything that you express, that's opening your throat chakra, whether it's writing, whether it's vocalizing. I'm really excited about vocal tuning and vocal processing. And I love listening for tones in the voice. Like, I always know. So I love listening for stuff like that. And those are really good skills to build as a healer. Hmm. And it's been so interesting because what I've noticed in my own life and in the lives of others is that there's like a lot of distance being created, and people are taking space from other people, and that's a really good thing because there's missions to be fulfilled that cannot be fulfilled when everybody is all up in each other's faces. Like, you have to take your time to write your book, write your memoir, your manuscript, everything that you're doing. Like, it takes time and energy, and it's worth investing in. And codependency doesn't allow us the space to create. When we have that security and that secure attachment, those secure, like, that attachment and that secure relationship with our daddy issues, like understanding that, like, that's a part of us that we have to baby, that gives us space to create, and where we can feel secure in creating, instead of feeling like we have to invest so much time and energy into other external relationships outside of ourselves. When we really don't. What's really most important is our relationship with our creative process. And it's exciting because previous generations did not get that. They did not get that. They couldn't be artists because they didn't have that ability to do. So that's something that's like hardwired into us on a DNA level, and it does take reprogramming, and it takes it's a whole somatic, sensory, energetic, spiritual experience all in one, because it's running through your meridians, your energy meridians. It's running through your spiritual systems. It's running through your nervous system, and it's running through your DNA. And it's exciting. Like, it feels electric. Like when I'm feeling the sensation in my body right now, it feels electric, and I can feel different areas of my body just relaxing and declenching. And it's these deepest tiny muscles that are like the smooth muscles and the soft muscles around our organs. So that's another reason why detoxing and cleansing is indicated now. And that's something that I'm about to get deep into. And I've been needing to do this for a while. So, around the full moon is when, like, parasites and candida and all these things are most active. So you can tell if you need to cleanse by, if you're experiencing a lot of headaches or just upset stomach at this time, a lot of cravings, not being able to really digest your food. All that stuff is giving you clues. It would be a good time to cleanse. I'm going to tell you guys more about cleansing on the app. But like, another important part about your throat chakra healing and healing your daddy issues is celebrating yourself and celebrating your accomplishments. Because it's a big difference between somebody who could go home and be like, hey, daddy, guess what? I got an A on my report card. And hear like, oh, good job, sweetie, blah, 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 let's get you an ice cream or something. Versus someone who will come home and say that and be like, oh, okay, good, but you should have gotten an A in this other class too, or not really, or like not care at all, and so every family is different, everybody's experience is different, but we're just like really like that strict, stern parenting that's like, that shit makes kids hate themselves, and it's the reason why people rebel so hard. So, and then it's just, it sucks the joy out of life. So we just got to give ourselves the joy back all the time. And part of doing that is celebrating ourselves and like, congratulating ourselves and making space with other people to celebrate us and celebrate one another. And it's not narcissistic. It's not you being full of yourself. It's just normal that people would want to hear and be excited about things. And so many people have gotten so addicted to complaining to the point where there's people that you really can't be friends with, because unless you complain with them, then it's going to seem like you're just like, you just think that bitch thinks she's all that, and you know, blah, 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 blah. So other times there's people that like genuinely love you and care about you, but might be going through shit and just really can't hear your good news. And you see memes on the internet that is like, you know, notice who claps for you and who doesn't, and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, and also people are going through their own shit, and sometimes they really can't be happy for someone else, and that doesn't mean anything malicious. Like there's just not as much malicious intent as we might be programmed to feel and believe. And it's just the fact that like people are always grasping at something and grasping at something, you know, and it's not really up to us to like cut off every toxic person or negative person. It's more so just consistently returning to our core and find strength from that core and drawing strength around us from that core, you know, and just continuously setting boundaries and just choosing better for ourselves. Because what I noticed was a lot of people making posts about, you know, people, like just basically just like a lot of different, you know, when people, you have everybody's back, but they don't have yours, or like feeling, like just I don't even know. I'm sorry, you guys. um but just a lot in general, energy of betrayal and friendships ending, connections ending, or people not really being able to vibe with one another going forward and things like that, and hearing a lot of like anger and sadness around that, but thinking at the same time like, this is a good thing, y'all, and you don't know it's a good thing that you need that space. You need that space. Like, it's not, and it's like, oh, you know, I called them and they didn't call me back. They didn't check on me when it was a storm and things like that. And it's like, well, let it go. Let it go. You need that space. Like, you need that space to find a reason not to do what we know we need to do. Are we choosing to blame somebody else for what, you know, where we didn't put the work in? Or, you know, are we gonna let someone else affect our emotions just because we didn't get a reaction out of them that we wanted? Again, like we only control ourselves, and it's just indicating more and more just to like continuously go back to yourself and make yourself happy and choose yourself. And for so many of us, we were literally not allowed to do this, and we were forced to betray ourselves and compromise our boundaries and not have any boundaries, and you know, forced into a corner of being desperate for love because we were deprived of it when we needed it most. And it's like, yeah, it's like, it's easy to blame the actual people who did it, who did the depriving, you know, and that's because of them, they're close enough to us. But these issues are structural and go much deeper than just individual families. Like, if you look, all families are like, it's like a society is set up in a way where all families are structured in this environment. They're in a toxic nuclear family dynamic, and these are perfect breeding grounds for all types of abuse to take place in private. And this toxic individualism, and where's my phone? Oh, I was gonna say I heard it. This toxic individualism keeps people separate from one another, so then like there's no witnesses. And so many people's first experiences of sexual violence are from their parents, or at least somebody in their family or their household. If not parents, then probably older siblings or older cousins or uncles, aunts, somebody in the family, grandparents. And this is systematic. It's more common than not common, and it's found in all different types of families. Any type of socioeconomic status, any type of race or ethnicity, nationality, and it's not immune to the LGBT. Um, whether as a child or as an adult, people prey on sex workers to do that type of stuff. And many children who experience stuff like that become sex workers as adults because they've already experienced sex trafficking and sexual abuse in the adult entertainment industry as children. These are deeper topics that people don't really want to dig into. And everybody had a field day last year with talking about the celebrity sex cult rings, and people went back and forth on, some people were so obsessed with going down the rabbit hole, and then other people pushed back against that and were like, why are they so obsessed with this? This is taking attention off of the real issue of these things really happening. And it's like, one, why do you assume that shit isn't really happening? Like, why wouldn't it be? Like, abuse of power comes as no surprise. Jenny Holzer, like, you should. It's frustrating and annoying as somebody who's experienced that very thing. When people try to deny it, and I'm like, why wouldn't it be? Like, it's like, if it's happening in literally almost every single family, why wouldn't it be happening in literally almost every single institution? We automatically have a fear blocker when it comes to even talking about these things, because there's a very real fear of, is it too dangerous to say these things, especially when you're immigrants, you come from countries, or when you're of a certain group that is targeted for being like anti-authoritarian or against, the status quo. There's a fear because it's like, we talked about the fear of employability and how, like, certain things I can't say because then that's going to ruin my chances of having a job in the future. And people will try to get you fired for your political beliefs and things. But whatever it is, like, they'll think that if they disagree with you, then that is enough to try to come after you. But it's not just that. It's like, there's also the very real fear of persecution, become, political prisoners. This is a real thing that marginalized, oppressed people know about. Like, you can get put on lists, and that affects you in a lot of different ways. And even just to talk about certain things is like, a lot of people won't talk about certain things because they don't want it to affect their platform. They don't want to experience censorship. But you got to trust that what comes up is meant to come out, and that it will come out at the right time with the right people who's prepared to hear it. One of the really important things about this healing is that it preserves your words for those who can really receive them. Okay. Cleveland. but I'm just really not good at censoring myself. It gets all weird. I honestly do not know what to do. Okay, cool. I'm back live. Yes. Good. Yeah, so it's just about making a safe space for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about as much as you need to talk about it, and just really like treating yourself like a kid, listening to yourself like a kid, like, you know, taking that opportunity to see your own innocence and your own divinity. So what's interesting about the way that daddy issues affect the throat chakra is how much of that is put on us by our matrilineal side. It's mothers, it's women in the family that teach femme socialized girls, women, and those socialized as femme to close their mouths, to not speak, to not say something, and to like take a vow of silence, to take a vow of celibacy. They teach us that we shouldn't speak. And this is a way of protecting the next generation from harm out of survival needs, but it's not working anymore because the way that the energy is changing, we need our voice back more than we need that safety of survival. Because what we found out is that that is not safe. You still can get murdered that way, and you still haven't said your piece. Like Audre Lorde, when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak knowing we were never meant to survive. On that note, I thank you for tuning in. That is the message. I think I'm going to film a Pisces full moon reading. I feel like there's some messages that need to come through. So I'm about to film that right now. But if you guys want to go further with healing the throat chakra from daddy issues, download the Inner Muse Healing, the Calliope Inner Muse Healing in our shop on heavenonearthreiki.org. And that's going to take you through a guided reading and healing and give you space to open up to receive some energy healing around opening up your throat chakra and giving yourself space to create epic poetry and epic works. So tune in for that, and then make sure that you subscribe to YouTube, Shaker Stripper ASMR on YouTube, and Ma salama.